Good afternoon. Welcome to the 35th annual Mr. Hockey Awards Banquet. I am Lauren Feldkamp from the Minutemen and the Mr. Hockey Awards Committee. Today, we're going to be presenting the Mr. Hockey Award to the top high school senior hockey player and the Frank Brimsek Award to the top senior goaltender after we honor all of these great finalists. These finalists and award winners are voted on by a panel of professional hockey scouts and other hockey experts in the state of Minnesota. These hockey players have been selected as the top seniors in the state high school league, exhibiting the most talent and tradition of high school hockey in this nation. We congratulate every one of you guys, and we're absolutely honored to have you at our banquet today. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. I'm going to introduce our head table guest and recognize some other people while we get going on our meals. Today, with the weather, and a lot of people here from Duluth and Roseau and everywhere, we're going to just continue our program right through our meals. So enjoy your meals as we go. We'll be up here talking. Remember, you will have some applause opportunities as you go. So joining us today to offer an invocation before we begin our meal is longtime Minutemen member and Mr. Hockey Committee member Larry McMahon. Larry, come on up here. Larry's been involved in the Mr. Hockey Award since its inception 30-some years ago. All of us people have some great gratitude to give to Larry for him and his group that started this deal back in the 80s, including Mr. Choisky down there. Anyway, Larry has been past president of the St. Paul Minutemen before Minneapolis and St. Paul combined their clubs. Larry now serves on the board of directors for the Minutemen Amateur Athletic Foundation. Welcome, Larry.
Woo. I think it was a little tall. It's amazing, I'm just making this an aside, it's amazing how talented these kids are today and how they seem like such nice men. It's obviously they got good parents. They've also got some great coaching, but it's the abilities you have compared to when I played. There's no comparison. I played defense because I was one of the only guys that could skate backwards on our team. I mean, that was how they. Now I saw a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old at Highland last summer who's in the NES program, I guess it was. That little kid is whipping around going backwards like it's just natural to him. But I digress. I thank you, O God, for giving me a body which is especially fit and strong, and for making me able to use it well. In my training, help me never to shirk the discipline which I know that I need and that I ought to accept. In my leisure and in my pleasure, help me never to allow myself any indulgence which would make me less fit than I ought to be. When I compete with others, help me, win or lose, to play fair. When I win, keep me from boasting. When I lose, keep me from making excuses. Help me always with goodwill to congratulate a better player who beat me. Help me so to live that I will always have a healthy body and a healthy mind. This I ask for your love's sake. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Played defense at Cretin and at Providence. Probably can still skate backwards as fast as he did then. He's in good shape. Good friend of mine, good mentor of ours, Larry McMahon. At our head table, starting to my far right, are the finalists for the 2019 Mr. Hockey Award. They are Bryce Brodzinski, Blaine High School. Grant Doctor from Minnetonka. Ryder Donovan from Duluth East. Eric Huglin from Roseau. Hope I got that right, Ed. Jack Jensen from Eden Prairie. Jet Jungles from Edina High School. Mike Kester from Chaska. Josh Lidke from Minnetonka. Mason Nevers from Edina. Charlie Shane, Andover High School. This year, we are recognizing top 3 goaltenders in the balloting process. We started with 1 years ago. We went to 2 about 5 years ago. This year, we've expanded it to 3. So I've got our goaltender finalists to my left side today. So let me introduce these guys to you. First of all, we have Brennan Boynton from Champlain Park High School. Ben Fritzinger from Andover High School. And Charlie Glockner from Minnetonka High School. We're definitely looking forward to hearing from all of you finalists today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Further to my left, I'm pleased to introduce the Minutemen's chairman of the Mr. Hockey Awards Committee, Marty Miele. No, not yet. Marty will come up here after a while. Sorry about that. Marty does a great job chairing this banquet, and we're honored to have him work with us. Next to Marty, Ali Lucia is our news anchor and reporter at WCCO TV, our master of ceremonies today. Next to Ali is our old friend Billy Robertson, commissioner of the WCHA. Billy, a longtime friend of the Mr. Hockey Award and the Minutemen organization, so an honor to have you here, Bill. Next to Bill is Mike Taylor from the Coaches Association. Mike will present some coaching awards today and be a big part of our program. Next to Mike down there was Jamie Spencer from the Minnesota Wild. And I get to talk about the Wild for a moment because we could not do what we do without the tremendous support that the Wild and the Wild Foundation give us. So they make everything go, and we are very, very honored to have them be part of this awards banquet today. Next, down next to Jamie is Matt Lundeen, 2004 Frank Brimsek Award winner from Apple Valley High School at that point in time. And Matt will speak about the Frank Brimsek Award and then name the winner of that prestigious award today. Next to Matt is Tom Chorsky. Everybody knows Tom. Thank you, Tom, for being here. Going to present the Mr. Hockey Award today. And, of course, Tom is the first ever Mr. Hockey Award winner in 1985. I think we do the math on that. 85, right, Tom? Yep. And you've met our old friend Larry McMahon, so welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here. I want to recognize a few folks and thank some folks in our audience. First of all, the Minutemen want to thank all of you parents and coaches, school officials, and teammates for helping these award winners become successful and supporting this event. Congratulations to all of you for another fantastic season of Minnesota State High School hockey. In addition to our presenting sponsors, many other businesses supported our award banquet by buying placemat ads for today's luncheon or by sponsoring tickets for high school hockey players and teams to be able to attend the banquet today. We ask that you thank and support our sponsors and our advertisers. Minutemen member and official photographer Walt Berry and his wife Karen are here to conduct the silent auction as well as serve as official banquet photographers. And Marty Miele will recognize the rest of our awards banquet committee after we enjoy lunch. Marty will thank this person also, but I really want to recognize Jessica Jolie. A lot of you connected with Jess as we sold tickets and tried to organize this. And once again, we couldn't do what we do here without Jess's help. So thank you, Jessica, very much. So once again, today we'll keep our program running while we enjoy our meals. I'm going to celebrate Minnesota high school hockey, recognize a few more people before we bring Allie up here. I want to thank the Jostens Ring Company for donating the Mr. Hockey Championship ring. Whichever of you 10 guys is named Mr. Hockey today, we'll get your information. We'll send that to Jostens. They will create a championship ring for you. I think the Wild, whoever's our award winners today, I think, is it tonight, Jamie, that you want these guys to be your guest at a game tonight? Or is it future? 14th, beautiful. So the award winners will be invited, will be introduced in front of another probable sellout crowd at the Minnesota Wild game. I want to take a moment to celebrate the extreme depth of talent in the state of hockey. U10 athletes are highly honored to have been selected as finalists for the 2019 Mr. Hockey Award and the Frank Brimsek Award, you three guys. The Minutemen greatly enjoy celebrating the history of the Mr. Hockey Awards and all of our award finalists, especially this year's our 35th annual Mr. Hockey Award. And we're really proud to see Mr. Hockey Award winners and finalists starring in the NHL and the Division I college ranks. For example, first ever Mr. Hockey Award finalist from Chaska High School. So that's a great one. We were proud of that. Another fun thing, and I didn't get a hold of this gentleman to be recognized, but I hope it's okay to do that. Mason Nevers is a Mr. Hockey finalist, and his dad, Tom, was a Mr. Hockey finalist, I think, in 1990. Tom, are you here somewhere? Would you stand up and let us recognize you? Where are you at? Great story I read when I researched Tom a little bit. Great hockey player, great baseball player. Had a scholarship offer from the University of Minnesota, but signed a baseball contract with the Houston Astros, so he went to play baseball and then came back during the offseason, enrolled at the U, played hockey with the U while he was a professional baseball. Is that right? Okay, good. I think he's in real estate these days, so if you're in the West Metro, you want to buy a house. And Marty Milley's into insurance, and then I think in the South Metro, Matt Lundeen is real estate, so you could have a good Mr. Hockey connection if you buy and insure with our guys here. So thank you, Tom, for letting me do that for you, to you. I think if this gentleman has arrived, 1995 Mr. Hockey finalist Mark Parrish. Did Mark show up yet? He's coming. We'll get him after a while. So you see, yeah, okay, we'll talk about him. So anyway, we really love the history of the Mr. Hockey Award. Once again, a lot of great award winners. And then there's a lot of great award finalists that really have succeeded in the NHL, and it's really amazing what these finalists do. And we're just honored to have you all here. Once again, we thank 1985 Mr. Hockey Tom Chorsky. 2004 Frank Brimsek Award winner Matt Lundeen for helping us celebrate today. And then I think we have the Duluth East coaching staff has 1997 Mr. Hockey finalist Dylan Mills on that stuff. Is Dylan here today? Stand up, please. There you go, Dylan Mills, 1997 Mr. Hockey finalist. Thank you, Dylan. Now a few words about our organization, the Minutemen Club. Exists to do goodwill through sports. Ever since its inception in 1954, the Minutemen organization, once again, there was a St. Paul Minutemen and a Minneapolis Minutemen group back then. They went out and they sold stadium bonds, double E stadium bonds to get Met Stadium built. They helped the Twins and the Vikings get here. They went out and sold season ticket packages for the Twins and the Vikings. And our organization is really proud of that history. Now, our organization works with the Minutemen Amateur Athletic Foundation to support worthy youth athletic endeavors. So we have a nice group. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We've spoken with former award winners and finalists about giving back to the sport when their hockey careers are finished. All of these gentlemen to my left give back to the sport in many, many ways. We invite all of you finalists to come back and help us build the tradition of the Mr. Hockey Award as you can when you get back and settled in Minnesota after whatever hockey endeavors you're part of in the future. All of the coaches in our audience know that it's fun to be part of hockey, but even more rewarding to be able to give back something to the sport because of your success. The Minutemen Club is always looking to add dedicated sports enthusiasts, men and women that want to give back to the sport that we all enjoy. Contact us in person or look us up at minnesotaminutemen.com if you want to have some fun helping the Minutemen do goodwill through sports. The Minutemen celebrate Minnesota lacrosse, baseball, and softball with awards banquets as well, copied from the success of the Mr. Hockey Award. And we hold some fun roast and toast for sports celebrities along the way. So we're proud of what we all do. We have changed our bylaws to invite female members into the organization. So we recently changed our legal name to the Minnesota All Sports Alliance. We go by formerly Minutemen Ltd. since we have a great history. We're working on a new logo and new other identity items, creating also a new singular fundraising program that will help disadvantaged youth participate in their chosen sports. I want to have 2 or 3 other people stand because there's some people helping us guide this organization. So Matt Williams is president of the Minutemen. Stand up, Matt. Kendall Hewson is our membership coordinator and membership engagement. And Jessica Jolie, once again, helps us with all of the future direction. We couldn't do all of what we do without Jess. Did Paris show up yet? No. We'll get them later. All right. Thank you for your attention while I talk about our stuff going on now. It's my pleasure to turn the rest of the banquet over to our friend, Ali Lucia.
Thank you. Hello. How is everyone doing today? I'm glad to see a lot of you are eating your food. So feel free to eat. Drink the water, drink coffee while we're all up here talking. My job today is to keep this program moving, and my job is to interview each and every one of these hockey players up here. So I know you guys have been studying up, and you're prepared just like you are for any high school test for the questions I'm going to be asking. Are you guys ready to go? Yes? We'll be doing that in just a little bit. But I really would just like to say congratulations to not only the student athletes who are up here today, but to all of the hockey players in the room for participating in this year's high school season. Congratulations to the winners. For those of you that don't know, I am the oldest daughter of head coach Don Lucia, and I work at WCCO. I anchor the morning news. I do traffic in the morning, so nice to see that you all didn't get stuck in traffic and you made it here. That is always a positive. Earlier this week, I don't know, for those of you who do watch WCCO, we did this thing called Good Question, and we had a question from a viewer that asked, is Minnesota the state of hockey? Something that airs on our 10 o'clock news. And watching the state tournament this week, and I would say yes, Minnesota is the state of hockey, but of course we had to do a little research to back this up, and we wanted to know what makes Minnesota the state of hockey. Obviously, the Wild have done a really good job of making sure that that brand has been put out there really across the state, but nearly 58,000 Minnesotans are registered with USA Hockey. Number 2 is New York at just over 50,000. Number 3 is Michigan with just under 49,000. So those are the 2 states that, of course, have a lot more people in them, but Minnesota has the most hockey players registered with USA Hockey. Really cool, and perhaps maybe it's because we are the land of not 10,000 lakes, but really 23,000 rinks. That is number 1 of any state here in the United States. 5 Division I college teams, and then, of course, we know we've got a lot of D3 teams as well. I believe it's 10. I think I counted it up. But how about this? Of the Americans playing in the NHL, 17% of the Americans playing in the NHL right now are from Minnesota. Second is Michigan with 10%. And then when it comes to Division I hockey, we got to give the ladies a shout out too. 157 women from Minnesota playing Division I hockey right now. Number 2 and number 3, Massachusetts and New York, don't even reach 157. So that just goes to show you how prominent hockey is here in our state. For the men, it's 193 Minnesotans compared to 154 for Michigan and 104 for Massachusetts. So right now there are more college hockey players playing college hockey for Minnesota than any other state in the country. So for the 13 student athletes up here today, you are one of the lucky ones. Your career is being celebrated because of your great high school season. You are the future of the state of hockey. And as a kid, I grew up going to the lakes in northern Minnesota, Grand Rapids, Minnesota. No matter where we were living, whether my dad was coaching at Alaska or Colorado, our summers were spent up there. When my dad accepted the job as the Gophers head coach, I can honestly say that I was almost 16 years old and I was absolutely devastated because what high school kid, I'm sure you guys wouldn't like to move in the middle of your high school year to a new state, but looking back on it, I can honestly say that my dad accepting that job and moving our family to Minnesota was the best decision. Not only did he make for his career, but that he made for our family. I was able to make amazing friends spending time up on the lakes in northern Minnesota. Friends who have made an impact here at the state tournament, like Grant Clafton and Andy Sertage, who both coach at Greenway. Congratulations to them on making state. It's been a long time since we've seen Greenway in the state tournament. It's great to see people like that just having an impact on the game. And I'm so appreciative for the time that we all spent as a family at Mariucci Arena or at Broadmoor Arena when we were growing up as kids, or even at the Carlson Center at UAF, because it really did keep our family close. And I know for all of you up here today, hockey, forged great relationships. You guys, look at the people sitting next to you. I know some of them are enemies, some of them are frenemies, and maybe they'll be your teammates next year, or maybe you'll be checking them, into the boards at Mariucci Arena, or I know someone's headed to Denver, someone's headed to Arizona State. So you're going to see these guys again, whether it's in college or the AHL or the NHL. But ultimately, I look around the room and I see so many familiar faces, and I think what the game of hockey really does allow you to do is it gives you opportunity when you're done playing as well. And I think what a lot of you will find who are sitting up here today is a lot of you might make it to the NHL. And for a lot of you, I know you hope you'll make it to the NHL. But the reality is that you have to have a plan B. And I think what hockey will allow you to do, especially here in the state of hockey, is that you'll be able to have someone in the hockey world help you get that first job interview, help you get that first job. So to the state of hockey, thank you not only for what you've done for our family, but for what you've done for the kids up here today. And with that, I'd like to introduce Marty Miele, who played for St. Cloud when I was a Golden Gopher. I did not play hockey, but I've cheered on a lot of games. So I guess in college we were enemies, and now we're friends. Marty is the chairman of the Mr. Hockey Award. He has been a member of the Minnesota Minutemen since 2012, and he is from Faribault. He played hockey for St. Cloud State from 2004 to 2008, and then professionally in Europe in the ECHL. So let's welcome Marty to the stage.
I want to congratulate all the 2019 award finalists and state tournament teams on a fantastic year. As you know, everyone that's involved with the Minutemen are volunteers. Each year, the Mr. Hockey Committee works extremely hard in making this a memorable event. The process that we use to determine our award finalists is through a panel of 50 voters who consist of NHL, junior scouts, coaches, referees, and media members. Once the voting results are tabulated, we assign a committee member to act as a liaison for the banquet. I want to thank this year's committee for a fantastic job. Jake Brandt, Tom Chorsky, John and Justin Feldkamp, Michael Gergen, Brian Lee, Larry McMahon, and Paul Noterman. I want to thank Walt and Karen Berry, who are sitting in the middle there, who handles the photography and the silent auction. I also want to do a huge thanks to our glue, otherwise known as our administrative specialist, Jessica Jolie, who you guys met at the registration table. She has worked diligently behind the scenes to make this run smooth, so round of applause. You know, yesterday I was walking around the Let's Play Hockey Expo with my daughter, and I saw a mind-boggling stat that 17,000 mites are playing hockey in Minnesota. I think that's just remarkable. It's a testament to what makes the state so great. To have that kind of volume, it's tough to shine when you're competing against so many players. These 13 players have proven they are among the best through their leadership and hard work. You guys are talented players and have an exciting future. Let's give your supporting cast, your teammates, coaches, and family members a round of applause for getting you to this moment today.
Okay, next we have Bill Robertson. He is the president and commissioner of the WCHA. He is currently in his 5th season at the helm of college hockey's most historic tradition and, of course, a very successful conference. Let's welcome Bill to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, 35 years for the Mr. Hockey Award. That says a lot about the history of this great award, and all these finalists up here for both awards. You should be very proud of what you've done. But before I begin my very brief comments, I want to say a couple things. The Minutemen, and they're now going to be called the Minnesota All Sports Alliance in the future, do a lot of great work throughout the Twin Cities area and the state, showcasing young athletes, both boys and girls. And I want to give a special round of applause to all the volunteers on the Minutemen, Mr. Lauren Feldkamp and Mr. Matt Williams, who organize the majority of this every year, along with all the volunteers, do such a good job. I would just like to take 1 second to congratulate them and give them a big round of applause for all they do. It's an honor to be here as the commissioner of the Western Collegiate Hockey Association. And on behalf of the WCHA, I want to say welcome to the state of hockey. And what a great high school tournament we just had with St. Cloud Cathedral winning and Edina winning. Congratulations to both schools at Class A and Class AA. Very hard to get to that point. Lots of unknowns throughout the year, lots of pressure. I know that as a commissioner, understand it, but some great high school hockey played in this campus over the weekend. I know all these finalists that are up here today, you've had some great success, and you wouldn't be here without that. But I want to say that some of you will go on to play at the collegiate level. Very few will go on to play at the professional level or the NHL level. But what I want to say is the most important thing, in my opinion, for all you out there that are listening, is to concentrate and focus as well on getting your college degree, which will help you for later in life. I think that will be the most important thing I can say. And also, too, that at the same time, you got to live each day and enjoy these special moments like today. The day after the high school tournaments have ended. I hope you're enjoying this time with your teammates, with your coaches. They put so much time in your parents and your families. It is a special, special time. So hope today can be more than having a M&M cookie and a sandwich. It can be about enjoying this moment. So I hope you do. To all the parents, coaches, and staffs and teachers that are out there supporting your schools today, thank you for all you do. Really important piece of the development for these young men as they go on in their careers. With that, I want to say, wishing you all the best of luck. I know there's a couple up here that are going to be playing at WCHA schools, and I'm very happy to hear that next year, but a lot of them are going on to college and for bigger and better things. So congratulations to all our finalists. Thank you for being here today.
Bill, I'm not used to calling you Bill. Normally it's Billy Rob. Got a little caught off guard by that. Okay, next we have the Wild are putting this on, so big thank you to them. We have Jamie Spencer. He is the Executive Vice President of Business Development. And among other things, Jamie has been responsible for the development and construction of that beautiful new Wild practice facility, the Tria Rink at Treasure Island Center. It's absolutely stunning if you haven't seen it. He is from Carmel, Indiana, so he's a transplant and played college hockey for the Wisconsin Badgers. State Street is still one of my favorite spots, Jamie. And he played professional in the IHL, ECHL, AHL, and I believe he even played some roller hockey, but I don't think he's going to talk about that.
Thank you. Well, I think it's afternoon now, so good afternoon and welcome to our campus, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. On behalf of the Wild, I want to welcome you all and start off by congratulating St. Cloud Cathedral, first ever state championship. And also Edina. I see Coach Giles and his staff here, as well as a few of the players. I think we got 3 of the guys that were in that overtime thriller last night, so thank you guys for putting on quite a show. And former goalie for the Minnesota Wild, Josh Harding, here with us today. So congrats to everybody. And I also, like other speakers, would like to take a moment to thank the parents and the coaches and all the family members here today. You know, you look around the room and you see how many coaches there are that maybe played in the tournament or played youth hockey, and it's unbelievable to look inside a room and just see the success that they've had on the ice, and now they're converting that and giving back to the game. And it's such a big part of what makes the state of hockey what it is. We all know it's a commitment, and these young men didn't get here to the stage by themselves. And to the parents, we thank you guys for not just the hours you've put in, but also the great young men that you've turned out here and representing our state like they do. So we hope that everyone here in today feels a part of this honor that these young men have before them. At the Minnesota Wild, we have 2 goals, and the first one I hope is pretty obvious, right? We want to win the Stanley Cup. We've been in the playoffs 6 straight years, but our motto is good is not good enough, and we've kind of lived up to that. We want to get to that higher ground so that we can celebrate that Lord Stanley with you all. And the other one is quite simple, and it's sort of behind the scenes, but our mission statement, believe it or not, is to create a greater state of hockey. And how we do that, and one way that we fulfill this mission is by sponsoring banquets like this one. We don't just measure our success in terms of how many people come to our games. We look at it in terms of, you know, what kind of impact are we having on the game? What are we doing to get young boys and girls out there playing the game and eventually celebrating it as a family? And that's a big part of what we do. And as Lauren mentioned, the mission of the Minutemen is doing goodwill through sport. So our missions really align at the core, and so it's a very easy thing for us to get behind this event and be able to recognize these gentlemen here to my right. The state of hockey, there's no better place than here. I grew up in Indiana. I'm jealous that I never got to play in something this big. But when I moved to Minnesota, I instantly fell in love with the culture here. And if you haven't lived outside the state, you maybe can't fully appreciate what the state of hockey really embodies, which is, at the core, it's this community-based model. The fact that kids can grow up in their hometowns, play together like many of these guys, I'm sure, for years and years, wear your hometown jersey, have your parents and kids come in and celebrate with you as you take on the big opponents. And the volunteerism that comes with that. You'll hear that word over and over, whether it's the Minutemen, the coaches, and all that put on the spectacular state tournament that is, 75 years is just spectacular. And then, Allie mentioned the state of hockey and the metrics. We're super proud as the Minnesota Wild to see 55,000 kids registered to play hockey in this state. That doesn't, by the way, count the high school girls and boys playing, whereas I believe every other state counts that in their amateur numbers. We put 57 Minnesotans on NHL rosters this year, which is a record high, and that continues to grow every year. So even at the highest level, our kids are having an impact. You look at the women's hockey scene, look at the Olympics, look at the National Women's Hockey League now here playing at Tria Rink. We were so fortunate to be able to put on the season this year. They sold out all 8 games. I was actually heading to their playoff game from here, but unfortunately due to some weather conditions, believe it or not, they don't fly charter in the National Women's Hockey League, so there were some travel issues getting the other team here. But watching that grow and the girls that are now lacing them up. I have 2 girls that play, and it's so fun to see them now playing on all girls teams. 25 years of the girls tournament now. And we talked earlier about the college impact. Every roster you look up and down, there's a Minnesotan on that roster, not just a player, but a contributing member to that team. But this is a family sport, and we, again, thank all of you for showing up today. You forget how these guys, you see them in their helmets and cages, and you forget how young they are. I mean, they play like men out there, and it's good to see them here with you all as they celebrate. So to the players, we're very happy with what you've done. Many of you are now moving on to maybe a junior team, a college team, maybe someday an NHL team. And not only do we encourage you to pass on that legacy in being a coach someday, teaching kids to skate, maybe just getting out in your local community, but more importantly, you're part of this state of hockey now. And many of you have probably been battling for 10 or 12 years against each other. You probably know each other well. But now you enter into this little sanctuary that we call the state of hockey, and now you're all officially teammates. And I can speak for the Minnesota Wild. We're real happy with what you guys have done and what you're going to become, not only on the ice, but off the ice. In just a minute, we'll be announcing the 2 winners, and I'll have the privilege of presenting a Wild sweater to each of the winners. And as we mentioned, we hope that those winners will be available to help us put on the ceremonious Let's Play Hockey announcement at the Wild versus Dallas game on Thursday, March 14th, so that a larger audience can celebrate the success of these young men. But in closing, we're proud to be a part of today's banquet. We thank you for being here, and go Wild.
Now we have some awards to get to before we do the interviews with the players, and these awards are for coaches. So to present this, we have Mike Taylor. He is the vice president of the Minnesota Hockey Coaches Association, and he is currently the head coach at Egan High School. Since 2002, he is from Apple Valley and played college hockey at St. Scholastica from 1981 to 85. So let's welcome Mike to the podium.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Minnesota Hockey Coaches Association, I would like to congratulate all the Mr. Hockey finalists and the Frank Brimsek Award finalists. I would also like to congratulate the state tournament teams. I know what a grind it is. And the state tournament champs, St. Cloud Cathedral, and the Dinah Hornets. I'd also like to thank the Minutemen for putting on this banquet, as well as just all your support for high school hockey. Each year, the MHCA membership, which is made up of all the high school hockey coaches from around the state, chooses one coach from Class AA and one coach from Class A as the Coach of the Year. The award is known as the John Mariucci Award. The award is named after Mariucci, who is a legend in Minnesota hockey history, and as well as one of the state's greatest sports figures. He played in the NHL when it was really, really rare for an American-born player to hold a position in that league. And he came back and coached the University of Minnesota for many years after. He also, to this day, if you get north of Cloquet and you mention the name John Mariucci, a lot of people still genuflect and cross themselves. If the winners would come up, the Class A winner this year is Jeff Poschel from Mahtomedi.
Thank you very much. It's certainly a very humbling honor I can think of 50 other more deserving coaches out there that are more deserving than I for this award, but it is an honor. I'd like to thank my staff. I lean very heavily on them. Assistant coaches Alex Rogaszewski, who actually back in 1999 was my second captain at Matamidi, and he's come back to help coach. And Tom Strelo, longtime Matamidi resident, son of Warren Strelo. I have just a few brief comments, and if I were to entitle these comments, they would be notes to a younger self. First off, delegate. Use the skills and abilities of your assistant coaches. They want to be more than cone pushers. 2, be concise. Those long, elaborate overviews to your players, they get about the first 3 sentences and the rest just bounce off. 3, remember, developing character is always more important than developing hockey skill. And finally, be intentional about spending more time with your families. Thank you.
The AA Coach of the Year is Mark Manny from Andover.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much, Tails. It was kind of a long walk up here. I started to come across the middle here, but I saw Hunter Payne kind of lean forward in his seat, and I thought maybe he was going to knock me down the way he did most of our guys last week in the section final. So I stayed along the boards. And hey, yeah, like Jeff said, you don't win this award because you did something great on your own. I have a tremendous staff, and most of them are here today. Brett Barta, who was the 2018 Assistant Coach of the Year for the state of Minnesota. Bill Thorson, who's been there since before I got the job and has done a tremendous job. And Al Fritzinger, who's done a great job with all our goalies over the years, has been with us for 10 years. The other thing is you have to have great players to be great coaches, and I'm blessed to have 2 guys up here at the head table today, and certainly they play a big part. Finally, congrats to all the nominees, and it's tremendous to get an award with all the great coaches that are sitting out here in this room. Anytime you can win an award with Kurt Giles and Lee Smith and Mike Randolph in attendance, you feel pretty humbled about your abilities. Thank you very much.
The next award we have is presented each year to a member of the coaching community for long-term contributions to the sport of hockey in Minnesota. One of the criteria for this award is you must already be in the Hall of Fame for the High School Hockey Coaches Hall of Fame. The award is named after Cliff Thompson, who many of you know coached at Eveleth and is the only coach in the state's history to win 4 consecutive state championships. This year's award winner is a longtime coach at Armstrong High School. He has helped out at various other high schools as well as college programs in the state. He is our association's past president and still sits on the board today as the retired coaches' representatives. Needless to say, he has dedicated years of his life to Minnesota hockey. This year's Cliff Thompson Award goes to Bruce Johnson.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Minutemen and the Wild for putting together this great event. It's wonderful to finish our hockey season with a state tournament behind us, sitting in an event like this. To the Coaches Association, I want to thank you very much for this honor. I'm incredibly humbled by it. Lauren used to call this the Old Coaches Award when I was the executive director of the group, and he'd call me and say, Bruce, who's the old coach? Well, Lauren, I'm the old coach this year. Also want to thank my family. I certainly wouldn't be in a situation like this without the support of my family over the years, and particularly my wife, Terry, who's in the audience this afternoon. So to everybody, thanks very much to all of these guys and your teams that had great seasons. Congratulations, and it won't be long. We'll start the ball rolling again for next year, and I hope to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
I have one more thing, and then I'm going to land the plane for my part of this deal. The Evelith Trophy, a new trophy this year, was the brainchild of Mike Snee. The trophy was in the Evelith hip, and he saw the trophy, and many partners stepped in to make this special trophy possible. I'm not going to really describe anymore because you're going to see a video here. But first of all, this was led by the Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Hockey, the State of Hockey, the Minnesota Hockey Coaches Association, and we need to thank Jostens for refurbishing the trophy and making it look as great as it does. So with that, if we can push play.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's just ties in some of the older teams with the modern teams now, and I think that's great.
Introducing the Evelith Trophy, the new traveling trophy to be shared by the 4 Minnesota State High School state champions, starting this year. What's in a name? It was the Evelith Golden Bears who won the first state title in 1945. A tiny Minnesota Iron Range town whose iconic hippodrome produced the likes of Mariucci, Matcheffs, Mayasich, Brimsek, and Eikela.
You think about the 45 team right off the bat. Now they did it, and now we did it, you know. Oh yes, it was a big thing for us, that trophy.
From this day on, Evelith's original championship trophy will be hoisted every year by Minnesota's best in boys and girls high school hockey.
What was fun about it is how happy the kids were when they got a trophy, that big trophy, and going around the ice with it. And I got a lot of pictures of our teams doing that, and you could see the expression on their faces, you know, and you never lose that.
One trophy, all 4 title teams, each year moving forward, and all years looking back on 100 glorious years of high school hockey in Minnesota.
We won the Evelith Trophy, we earned it, and so did you. Enjoy it.
Fitting that on the 75th anniversary of the tournament for the boys and the 25th anniversary for the girls, you've got Willard Eikela, the former Edina head coach, talking about that award, and we have Edina as the winners today. But now it's time to the moment I know you guys have all been waiting for. We're going to interview all of you. Are you guys nervous? Anyone? Feeling okay? You guys, I know some of you have done a lot of interviews already this weekend. I'm going to start with the goalies first. Are you guys ready for that? I think a lot of people thought I wouldn't do that, but we're going to go first with our 3 goalies, and I want to start with Brennan Boyton. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So, Brennan, you can come up to the stage. Okay. Brennan is from Champlain Park, and welcome. Congratulations. You finished the year with a 17-5-0 record in net, 2.1 goals against average, 4 shutouts. Did you have a favorite shutout this year?
I don't know. Probably not.
They're all good? Okay. I was reading a little bit on your background, and it said in squirts you played defense for 1 game, and then what happened?
Yeah, they were coming down on a rush, and I dropped into a butterfly to try to save it, and then I was a goalie ever since. So, yeah.
I think you made the right call.
Yeah.
We know goalies, sometimes they're a little superstitious, and your superstitions, I feel like, are very advanced. Tell the crowd a little bit about what you do before every game.
I got to read all of these?
Not all of them, but just share what you do. I've never heard of this.
We apply essential oils to get you ready. They wake you up and stuff, and then I finish the last turn on a Rubik's Cube because I don't know how to do the whole thing. So
for anyone that is looking to get game ready, what essential oil is your favorite?
probably peppermint.
Peppermint. I don't smell any peppermint right now. No. That's only for game day. Yeah. Third generation goalie. Yep. What have you learned from the previous generations?
I don't know. They tell you a lot and kind of coach you through it. So picked up a lot from both of them.
Well, congratulations on being a nominee here today. Brennan Boynton, everyone, from Champlain Park. We're going to have everyone come over for a picture when they get their plaque. Up next, we have Ben Fritzinger from Andover. Ben, congratulations. You are a lefty goalie. Undecided on a college, 9-1-1 on the season. But for you, I know you never lost an OT this season. Pretty cool. What do you think the key was? What is your kind of game prep, especially going into overtime?
I don't have any prep for overtime at all. Just try to have fun and win.
I know you've got one superstition. That is you fist bump everyone on your team. How many times do you do that, and which hand do you do it with?
I fist bump everyone with my left hand twice.
Why twice?
I don't know. It started with my dad and I 2 years ago, and it's just been going.
When you look back at your season, what are you most proud of this year?
It's more not what I'm proud about. It's more what the team is proud about. I think we accomplished a lot of great things that we've never accomplished in Andover before, so I think that's what I'm proud about.
Well, Ben, congratulations on a great year. 1.31 goals against average this season. Ben Fritzinger, everyone, from Andover. I have these notes in front of me. They're supposed to help me, but I feel like all the players are looking at them too, cheating. Up next, we have Charlie Glockner from Minnetonka. Charlie, come on up. Stopped 94% of the shots he faced. Finished the regular season with a state best 20 wins. Charlie, congratulations on being here today. Minnetonka skipper. For you, when you look back on your season, what are you most proud of?
Just how my teammates, we built such a great relationship, and it was just a really fun season. It didn't finish the way we wanted it, but it was just an overall blast.
We asked the players to fill out a questionnaire. Some of them share some funny stories. So one of the stories that you shared was your sophomore year. One of the forwards on your team scored on you 5 times in a row at practice.
It was our forward coach.
Oh, forward coach. Sorry. Forward coach scored on you quite a few times. Tell us about what happened and the funny story behind that. And you guys have a little bit of a funny joke.
Yeah, Stevie Aronson, he's our forward coach. He's very competitive, and there's this one practice, we do showdowns before every game, a shootout showdown, and he scored 5 goals on me, and afterwards, he signed my stick, and that kind of got to me, so the next practice, I made it a personal goal not to let him score on me the entire practice, and Stevie didn't score on me once.
There you go. Steve, are you here? Is he here? No? Okay. All right. Just making sure. You put your gear on left to right every time, but I was also looking just a little bit about your background, which I think this is really important, especially for some of you who have younger children who are playing hockey or playing other sports, that, sometimes your kids don't always make the A team. They don't always make the top team. I look at a guy like Brendan Dillon, who's playing for the San Jose Sharks right now. He was an undrafted free agent, and he is now a stud in the NHL. And you didn't make a top team until very later on in your career. What did that teach you?
Well, it's not always about how you start as a player. It's about how you finish and the work ethic that you grow. And, I started my first year of squirts. I was a forward, and I wasn't very good. And I come from a family of goalies, my dad and my brother. So I figured that would probably carry on in the blood. So I chose to be a goalie, and I was never good until my last Bantam AA year, and it just, I don't know, I just fell in love with it.
Well, Charlie, congratulations on a great season. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, to the right side of the group, right? Are you guys all ready? First, we have Bryce Brodzinski from Blaine. Come on up. Bryce, looking great. Great hockey hair. It's fun to see all the hockey hair on the stage and at the state tournament. You Star Tribune, All-Metro first team. You come from a hockey family, and I know your brother plays for the Kings. What have you learned just from being in a hockey family, having an older brother to look up to? How has that kind of helped you develop as a player?
Yeah, it's helped a lot. I mean, coming home every day, whether I was a kid and I got to go watch him play, and him teaching me the little things, or when I did something wrong, he always held it against me until I did it right. And so, just him always being hard on me, and all three of my brothers and my dad too. They've taught me a lot.
I understand you had to get up early sometimes and go to things you didn't like to go to growing up as a kid because you're one of the younger ones. You got to go and hang out. But you finished the season as the leading goal scorer for Blaine. Congratulations. When you look back on your year and what you guys achieved being in the state tournament, what was the key to your guys' team success, do you think?
Just the friendships that we had. I mean, everybody was super close. We're all best friends in the locker room, and showing up to practice every day, and everybody wanting to be there, and just the high spirits that we had, and working together, we did good.
I understand you're really good with the Rubik's Cube too. Yeah. How quickly can you solve it?
I can do it in like 30 seconds, something like that.
That's impressive. And you have made your college choice. What was the recruiting process like for you, and why did you make the decision that you did?
I was at St. Cloud with Motzko, and then he decided to go over to the U, and he's super close with our family, and I went there for him, and he wanted me to go to the U with him, and so it was a pretty easy decision with him coaching my older brother and seeing how good he did with him.
Well, Bryce, congratulations on a great year, and you led the state with 44 assists. Congrats, and enjoy the rest of your year.
Thank you.
Grant Doctor, come on up from Minnetonka. Hello, welcome to the stage. Grant, you tied for the team lead of 36 points. It helped lead the Skippers to a 22-3 record. But when you look back at your season, I know it didn't end up the way that you necessarily wanted it to. But why was your team so successful and so close?
I think everyone just got along really well, and we all wanted to do really well. Last year we had a great season, and we wanted to have high expectations coming in this year, and that pushed us at practice. Our practices were very high pace, and everyone wanted to do well in practice because then you're going to get playing time in a game.
It's nice to see that I know for a lot of the kids up here, hockey is their passion, and hockey is what you do a lot during your free time, but you like to play other sports too. What would you say is your best second sport?
I'd probably have to go with lacrosse.
Lacrosse. It's very similar to hockey. Do you have an embarrassing playlist on your song? This is a question we asked a lot of the players. So are you a Instagram, Facebook? What are you?
I'm usually on Instagram.
Instagram. And what is your favorite song on your playlist?
Favorite song? I don't even know. I like Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. Good song. A little embarrassing, but it's a good song.
What do your teammates think of that? Guys, you okay with that? Okay, they give you the thumbs up. Well, congratulations on a great season. I know you're headed to Michigan Tech next year. Why did you decide to go with Michigan Tech?
It's pretty close to home, a great program, and the coaches were great, and they said everything right, and loved it, fell in love with the school.
Grant Doctor, everyone, Minnetonka. Next up, we're going north. We are going to Duluth East. Ryder Donovan, come on up. Jamie's going to like you. You're going to Wisconsin next year. Jamie, yes, go Badgers. Back-to-back trips to the state tournament for your team. I love the maroon, by the way, very fashionable. When you look back at your trips to the state tournament, what are you most proud of, and why is it such a memorable experience?
Probably last year. I mean, getting to the state championship was pretty cool. We had a great group, but honestly, this year was pretty cool too. I mean, we really had no expectations coming in from a lot of people. A lot of people doubted us, I guess, and just to get there. So just to get there against a great Andover team, I mean, that was tough, and just the way the tournament went, I think. I mean, we had a good game versus St. Thomas, but in consolation, I guess it's easy to pack it in and just kind of quit, but we didn't quit. We finished strong and had fun in Mariucci. So, yeah.
You never played Bantams.
Yeah.
I was really surprised when I read that about you. Why, and what did you do during that in-between time?
Yeah, so I was kind of moved up, like in Squirts and Pews at the same age group. Like Worth and Major last year, I was playing with them kind of. So I played 2 years of Pewees already, and I was going to move up to Bantams. The Bantam coach wanted me to move up, and the Pewee coach wanted me to stay down for another year with him. So I didn't really want to create any drama with my family. So my dad just said, screw it, let's just skate in the backyard rink. So in 7th grade, every day, I really had no friends. I just kind of skated in the backyard rink every day. So that was kind of my season. And then in 8th grade, I was down watching my brother in the summer tournament with Coach Randolph, and he came up to me, Worth and Major. We were just like screwing around the stands watching, and he told us to go get our gear and come play the next game. So yeah, and then we all moved up that year, and that was kind of my first year. And so yeah, that was the transition, I guess.
Everyone has a story, and I understand your team got in a little bit of trouble for some cell phone use on the bus. What happened? Tell the story to everyone.
We have like a no phone policy.
A no phone policy on the bus. Great policy, everyone. Great policy.
Yeah, we can't have it at the rink or anything at practice. It's Coach Randall's rule. So us being idiots, we brought our phones and everything and like hid it or whatever. So yeah, we brought on a road trip. I can't remember which one. And some JV kids were pissed off at us or something, and they ratted on us. So I remember that practice that night. If you like knew our team last year, it was like Worth and Meju. So they're just kind of characters, and we were like all just kind of plotting about like, what's Rand gonna do? Like, can we get away with it? So he came in the locker room after practice, and he's like, guys, I know that you had your phones or whatever. You better confess now, or you're gonna like skate twice as hard. And Worth, if you know him, he did not want to skate. So we were like, no way, we're gonna like tell him. So us being idiots again, yeah, we didn't tell him, and he knew. So the next morning we're there at 6 a.m. And we're bagging like our backup goalies, and all of our goalies are wearing like t-shirts and sweats with like gear from Goodwill, skating out there and doing lines. And then if you know Worth was just like dying. And then my buddy Meju, he was like puking out cranberry juice that he drank that morning and stuff. I don't even know, but so yeah, it was pretty funny. But it actually brought our team together because I don't know, we all kind of died that morning, but it was for a good reason, I guess.
A little adversity does the body good. And finally, we're going to end with this. I hear you have a mean duck call, so you get to do it for the crowd.
Oh, I need a duck call.
Oh, all right, you don't have it with you. Okay. Well, on that note, great story. Congratulations on being here. Go ahead, we'll do a picture. Next we have, we're staying north from Roseau, the forward Aaron Huglin. Come on up. Welcome to the stage, Aaron. Thank you for being here and congratulations. When I think of Roseau hockey, I think of the tradition, especially in that part of Minnesota. So for you, what did it mean to play for Roseau?
Yeah, obviously everyone knows it's so traditional there, so I think our coach really embraces that, take every day in. I think that's what we all did, so it's really cool.
You finished the season with 17 goals, 35 assists, but you had 4 game-winning goals this season. Do you have a favorite? I know sometimes people don't always remember all of them, but do you have a favorite this year?
Yeah, I had a pretty dusty team, I guess. Not to rip on Crookston, but had a pretty nice one against them, so that's probably it.
Awesome. I understand you are also a Party in the USA fan. That is on your playlist. What is up with the Miley Cyrus fans up here? Finally, I hear growing up you were afraid of Halloween.
Yeah.
Tell us the story about that.
Yeah, so every Halloween I'd get ready, I'd get my costume, and then right before my brothers and I were about to go, I'd sit on the couch and start crying, and I'd end up going. So it's kind of a funny story.
Now, are you into dressing up for Halloween?
A little bit.
Usually that's what happens, right? As you get older, it becomes more fun. And finally, you are headed to Minnesota to play for the Gophers. For you, what was the recruiting process like, and why did you make the choice you did?
Yeah, I actually went with your dad, Lucia. He recruited me, and then when I saw Mott's going over, it was a pretty easy decision with him.
Well, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Next, bringing it back to the suburbs, we have Jack Jensen from Eden Prairie. Come on up. "31 goals, 52 points during the regular season. Finished as the Lake Conference's leading goal scorer. And I believe you had the game winner against Blaine, too, earlier this year? Yeah. Yes. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. It was... there was like 2 seconds left, and Luke Middlestat just gave me like a backdoor pass, and I don't know, I got lucky, and it went in, and I didn't even know what to do at the moment, but it was a good game. It was fun.
It was great to watch you in the state tournament. For you, what was it like this weekend? I know it was a heartbreaker, but just playing there yesterday in the championship, what were the emotions like?
Yeah, it was like the best weekend of our lives. Like, we were down not to come here, and just to come here with this group of guys I grew up with is unbelievable, and the crowds are amazing, and just to make it to the state championship game, and, you know, overtime was stressful, but it was, you know, time of my life, so, yeah.
I also know you kind of went through a little bit of adversity. You moved to Eden Prairie freshman year from Edina. Yeah. So I bet you know a lot of those guys you're playing against. But how did that help you just become not only a better player, but a better person moving? Because moving, I know at that stage in your life, can be a little bit tough.
Yeah, no, it definitely helped me move. Playing against these guys growing up is always fun now, and, you know, I'm best friends still with these guys, so it's always, you know, fun to play against them. But, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's really it. I don't know.
And finally, game winner in the quarterfinals as well. How cool was that moment?
Oh, it was, I didn't even know what to do. I was just dead tired. But I got a nice pass from John. I was just hoping that went in because we had like 66 shots that game. And I was like cramping up on the bench. But it luckily went in and we moved on. But yeah, that's... Yeah.
Well, congrats on a great year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait for a photo. We move on to the state. Oh, well, wait for the picture. Excuse me. We move on to a state champ, Jet Jungles from Edina. Come on up. Okay, first want to start off without hockey. I hear you like funky socks. Do you have any that you're wearing right now? And if you could, you know, you can just kind of give us the... No?
No, I'm
not wearing socks?
No, I'm not wearing any socks right now, but I mean, they're not funky. They're just like a gray color, but normally on game days, there's something like Santa or something, like the Twin Cities skyline.
Oh, okay, well, I appreciated that. I felt like he might have style, so I wanted to see what kind of socks he was wearing. 8 multiple-point games this season, headed to Northern Michigan, 4 points against your win over St. Thomas Academy at one point this year. And for you, how incredible was it to play this weekend?
I mean, growing up with the boys back there, you can't really ask for much more. And having this coaching staff, been with them 4 years, it's like a second family. Coach Giles is like second dad. Sorry, Dad. But again, playing with all these guys up here, growing up with Jensen and Ludke and Neves, you know, just playing against them every time you're on the ice, you have a smile and you're just kind of joking around. But then again, you're serious. But it's nice just getting to know your friends and just competing against them.
When you look back at this weekend and the celebration you guys had yesterday, has it sunk in yet that you're state champs?
Not really, I know, but my sister's got 2 of them, and my brother's got 1, so now I got a little bragging rights on them. You know, I can keep with the conversation, but it's nothing better winning the state tournament with my best friends back there and my family.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mike Kester from Chaska. Mike, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Step over here maybe so people can see you. An elite offensive defenseman, selected the Star Tribune Metro Player of the Year, 19 goals, 3 hat tricks on the year. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'd definitely say against Jenner and EP in the Prior Lake tournament. That was pretty special. So.
And then a team best 40 assists. I was just looking at some of the notes that you made, and I liked this one because I'm sure are your parents here? Yes? Yeah, your parents are here. Mom and Dad, I read this, and I was like, oh, that's very sweet. I hope that you didn't have to get up with him, too. But you once snuck out of the house to go to the backyard rink at 1 a.m. How often did you do this?
I only did it once because I was pretty young and I was pretty scared, so I didn't want to do it again. But you know, now that I think about it, I should have done it more. It was actually pretty cool when I got down there. So
he survived, Mom and Dad. We're glad he did that. It looks like I see you are a huge Taylor Swift fan. She's on your playlist a lot, but you have a superstition. Tell us about your superstition.
My superstition. What is
it? You don't even remember what you wrote?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Well, I always put my left gear on first, and then I warm up, so I go through the same like stick handling routine that I got from Lance Pillock. So.
And what do you think has been the key to your success growing up and developing as a hockey player?
I'd say mainly like my teammates that are back there, just growing up loving the game with them since the beginning, and all my coaches that have developed me. So it doesn't get much better than playing with all your guys in your community. So,
Mike, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you very much.
I think we skipped this guy, so we should do him.
I'm doing him next. Yep. Okay. Next up from Minnetonka, we have Josh Lidke. Welcome, congratulations. 36 points, 11 goals, and 25 assists on the season. Looks like you had 4 power play goals this year as well, including the game winner against Cloquet. Can you walk us through that one?
Yeah, I just actually got a really nice pass for my teammate Jack Bayless, and our power play is always something that we work on a lot in practice, so I think it kind of all came together on that play.
Some other descriptions about you: competed hard at both ends every night for the Class 2A state champs last season. And you had a little mishap, though. I was reading about you in Bantams. You shared this story, and I thought it was a funny one if you want to share with the audience.
Yeah, so actually everyone who's in part of this story is in the room, so.
That's even better. This is what we like.
So me and Grant Doctor over here, actually, we were up by a goal with about a minute left, I think, in the Bantam State Championship versus Edina. And me and Doc actually ran into each other and fell on our butts to give Ben Brinkman a breakaway with a minute left, and luckily Charlie Glockner was there to save the day, so it's kind of a funny story.
I love that. I love how you incorporated so many people who are here. Right. You have a little bit of a weird treat that you like to eat before the games. What is it?
Yeah, so me and James Miller actually eat jelly beans before the games. That's one of our superstitions. And then I'll also drink a yellow Gatorade in between periods. It's my favorite kind, so.
Well, congratulations on it. Did you have any jelly beans here today?
I didn't.
Only game day?
Only game day.
Okay, well, congratulations on a great year. You're headed to Denver. What went into that decision process?
Yeah, I think when I visited there, I just fell in love with the campus and the people there and the coaches, so it was an easy choice for me.
Colorado's a great state. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Next up, from Edina, we have Mason Nevers, who's headed to Minnesota. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you recovered from last night?
No, I don't think it's all sucking in yet, but it was crazy, just the emotions of last night. Nothing better than winning state championship in overtime, something you dream of as a little kid, and we have a wall at our locker room, and we always joked around about putting a plaque on the wall with all the champions, so it's pretty special to finally be on that wall.
Well, you deserve it, and congratulations. It honestly was an amazing game. So you anchored Edina's top line, and just reading a little bit about you, 19 goals, 33 assists on the season, but what was the key to your line's success this year, do you think?
Yeah, I think, I don't like to think just a line. Our whole team we rolled 3 lines. We just believed in each other. We had a kind of a motto that high character wins games, and we bought into each other, and the just team kind of bought in and rolled, so.
Who do you feel like had a big impact on your hockey career?
Yeah, all the coaches, but especially Coach Giles. Since I was a sophomore, they believed in me right away. They put me in a second-line role right as I got in the program, and they put me in positions to succeed right as I got there, so couldn't be more grateful for them.
Mason, congratulations on a great season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next up from Andover, we have Charlie Shane. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
You are headed to Arizona State next year. Awesome. It's great to see that some of these programs that are so new to Division I college hockey that are already having success. So 27 assists, 41 points on the season. For you, when you look at your team and your team's success, what are you most proud of?
I'm proud that we got to have as many wins as we did. Last year we broke every single record our school had for wins, goals, and goals let up. So this year we did the same thing, but we beat it by a few wins, so I was happy about that.
What went into your decision-making process to go to Arizona?
I trained with Joe Diedzik, and he played with one of the coaches in Pittsburgh, and I trust him a lot, and he thought it'd be a really good spot for me. I went down there last summer, and I fell in love with it, so that's where I ended up.
Congrats on that. I'm just reading a little bit about some of your funny moments playing hockey, and you have one where you brought 2 left skates to practice. How did that go?
Yeah, I had the same exact pair of skates. I just wasn't paying attention. I was airing out my gear, and I just was in a rush to get to practice. I had 2 left skates, and I had to skate for about 30 minutes with 2 left skates until my mom got my right one there. Yeah, it was pretty hard to do, but yeah, I was glad she got there fast.
30 minutes, that's a long time. Yeah. Impressive. As you look to your hockey future and your goals, is there someone that you really look up to in terms of emulating your game, or who you look up to?
I don't know. My dad, he was a big part in my hockey career. I'd say for someone I want to kind of be like, I'd be like Clayton Keller, Patrick Kane kind of guy. Really good hands, smart player.
Well, congratulations, good luck, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, I didn't forget anyone, right? You guys all got to do an interview? We're good? Now we'd like to bring Marty back up to the podium for the Mr. Hockey Ambassador Award. And he has a very special word to introduce. And of course, it's on behalf of the Doug Woog family. So they will be coming up as well.
I just want to do a little bit of a roll call, if you can stand. We forgot some finalists. Jack Killen in the back for Minnetonka. And Frank Brimsek finalist, Mike Johnson. The Ambassador Award. The Minutemen wanted to create an award to recognize the people that make hockey in our area strong. Pillars would be an appropriate term. Many of us at this table, out in the crowd, in the future class of 2019 have or will experience hockey at many different levels across the country and even the world. But nothing compares to a special place like hockey in our backyard, and that's mainly due to people help grow our game. We wanted to create a prestigious award that goes into an influential leader who over a period of many years has dedicated to the growth and development of hockey in Minnesota. This year's winner exemplifies everything in that definition, having a presence in the Olympics, college, juniors, high school, and youth hockey, spending countless hours in local rinks, talking with families and lending expertise. This man is a staple in the community. Even has a rink named after him in South St. Paul. I think that's enough said. This year's winner is Doug Woog, and on accepting on his behalf is sons Steve and Dan. Okay, we'll have you come in here for a picture. Want to do that first? Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. I'm Steve, my brother Dan. My brother says you're the older brother, you go first. When Marty called and asked me if we'd accept this as a family for my dad, the questions are, what do you want me to talk about, or what should we talk about? And I said, you want to talk about a player, as a coach, as a community? He said, go grassroots. Talk about a couple little experiences, so we'll do that. I got to laugh. Is it Charlie? You said you skated with 2 left feet? Somebody's going to Northern Michigan. I went to Northern Michigan, and the coach told me I played with 2 left feet all the time. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Doug would love to be here to accept the award today. As many of you know, he struggles with Parkinson's disease, and he's going to be a little challenged to be here with you today. So he's doing well. He's actually doing better. But we'll move past that, and I'll just share maybe a couple quick stories with you if I can. God, it's like old home up here. I hear Tom Nevers. Tom and I heard someone say Tom was the Nevers boy was the anchor of the line. Well, I anchored your dad's line in a junior team one time. So I think Tom, you and I, and somebody else, Jason Zent, maybe from Wisconsin. Yeah, on the same line. Here we go. All right, so every year about this time we have college hockey playoffs, right? The WCHA playoffs, which we all remember when we grew up back then. A little bit different than it is today. Tradition for my dad and I was we'd go down to the sports show every year. I loved it, and it was the worst experience of my life because I could make it about 3 steps, and someone would say, and Allie, you know this too, hey, coach, good luck. And I'd look at him, and I'd say, okay, this is going to be 10 minutes here. And he would look at the gentleman who said good luck, and he'd look then down at the 9-year-old that was being tagged along, and he'd look right at the 9-year-old and say, what's your name? He'd already see it says Farmington on the shirt, right? He'd say, where do you play? Ask him how his season was going, what position does he play, does he make good passes? And I feel that was part of the ambassador part that maybe really exemplifies what he did. It wasn't so much that he had to do that, he wanted to do that. He wanted to know about you, he wanted to know about kids, and he wanted to let them know hockey was important and be involved in kids' lives. I remember a couple years ago, they told a story at a high school banquet the other day. There was a 9th grade girl. Now, Again, coming from our family, our first 7 grandkids, my sister has 3 girls, I have 2 girls, my brother's first 2 were girls. So 7 of the 8 grandkids, the first ones were girls. So we're always around girls hockey. There was a 9th grade girl who was going to quit hockey because she had this was about 4 years ago. She just graduated this year. She had a little hitch in her stride where, guys, you could picture this. You push off with your right leg twice, then you bring it back, then you push off with your left leg twice. It's even hard for us to think about that, right? But she couldn't quite get it and said, I'm going to quit. So the coach said in our community, Doug, can you spend some time with her? So he literally went around the rink pushing, pushing one foot out, bringing it back in, pushing one foot out, bringing it back in. That girl captained the Inver Grove Heights girls hockey team this year. So just another simple example of kind of community stuff that you want to do. Let me see if there's anything else. Then I'll let Dan go here real quick. I guess lastly, the thought that came to mind as I drove over here is when he was inducted to the high school hockey or the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. I remember him sitting at the table with us, and he said, "I hope it's not because I'm here as a player. I hope I'm here because of a coach." And he felt like it was more important to help kids, whether it was the South Metro. We didn't have much for girls hockey, and he put together a summer program for that, or whatever else it might have been. As a coach, he felt it was a bigger deal for him to be involved in the community than it was as a player. So with that, I hope that shared a few things. I'll give you my brother Dan for just a minute here.
Kind of follow up on that is Coach Taylor sitting over here reminded me of they had their high school end of the season stuff, and there's probably a half a dozen, 8 kids that came up to our summer hockey camp, my dad's camp up in Breezy, and their favorite memory was going to camp, going to the WOOG camp. And so hopefully that's, something we can continue to give back, I guess is the best way I can say it. And again, one of the things we've been fortunate as a family, like Allie mentions, is we never had to move out of our house. We grew up in South St. Paul. Dad coached in South St. Paul. Dad coached with the Vulcans. Dad coached with the Olympics. At the University of Minnesota, he never had to leave. I mean, for what some of you guys, coaches, go through and stuff, we're extremely fortunate. And, follow your passion, love what you do, love to play, look at those boards out there and see all the guys that were sitting up here in your spots that were now helping out, helping the youth. I'm sure you guys do that already with your associations. I hope so, assume so. But a lot of those guys that are on those pictures out on the wall right now, it's pretty awesome to run across them. And I continue to try to do that. And I think that I got that from my dad as well. But, again, part of development, community hockey. We grew up in South St. Paul right down from the high school. And Friday nights, I don't know what else was going on because we were up at the high school. It was connected to the outdoor rink. We'd get out there, Dad would get on the tractor if he could figure out how to run it. And then we'd blow the snow around with the sweeper, and we'd shovel it up over the boards, then drag the hose out all the way down the far end of the rink, flood, come back. So that meant somebody the next morning, Saturday morning, had an opportunity to skate on great ice. So giving back to others, continue to do that, guys. Best of luck to your futures, and thanks for having us. He'd be very honored. Thank you.
Nope, no superstitions question. I would just like to say that the Lucia family is just grateful for everything that Doug Woog did and the Woog family did for us during the transition when we moved here 20 years ago. And I think that's just what makes the hockey community so great is that it really is a family. People take care of each other. What I remember when we moved here is watching Doug on the broadcast, and some of my favorite quotes of him are, Kangas had an MD. Well, what's an MD? It's a mask dysfunction. That's what that is. Or Vanek went down quicker than a pancake at a VFW breakfast. But his contributions to the game, whether it was in the broadcast booth, out on the ice as a coach, at the youth level, no matter what, we really are grateful for everything that he did. Okay, it's the moment you guys have all been waiting for. I like to hold the microphone, so I'm going to do that. We are going to invite up Matt Lundeen, he is a former Frank Brimsek winner from 2004. He is from Apple Valley and played his college hockey for the Maine Black Bears and Mercyhurst from 2004 to 2009. He played professionally in the CHL, IHL, and ECHL. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Want to say congratulations first off to Edina and St. Cloud Cathedral. Congratulations to the finalists on both sides. And then along with pretty much everyone else, congratulations to everyone out in the crowd. Every one of you had some sort of impact on these players up here, so congratulations everybody. One thing I want to touch on as well is that all these players up here are seniors. I'm sure a bunch of them had a chance to go play in the USHL, NAHL, maybe majors in Canada, but I had that choice as well, and I'm glad that I stuck with mine, stuck out my senior year and finished my senior year with all my good friends and had a chance to try to make it to the state tournament. Never had that opportunity, but definitely learned a lot of valuable lessons my senior year and was able to win the Frank Brimsek. For those of you who don't know, Frank Brimsek, not only a pioneer for goalies in Minnesota, but also for the U.S. He was the first ever American-born goalie inducted into the Hall of Fame. He was born in Eveleth, known to many as Mr. Zero. When he retired from the NHL, he left with owning 2 records, one for the most wins, and then the other one is the obvious, Mr. Zero, for the most shutouts. He was an 8-time All-Star, 2-time Vezina Trophy winner. He also won 2 Stanley Cups. He's a true hockey legend in Minnesota, and winning this award with his name on it is definitely something to be proud of. So, this year's, first off, and congratulations to you guys. I think I saw that all 3 of you had over a 9.3 save percentage, which is very impressive. Congratulations. It's an honor to be up here. But our 2019 Frank Brimsek Award winner belongs to Mr. Charlie Glockner of Minnetonka High School.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Minnesota Minutemen and the Minnesota Wild for hosting this great event. And I'd like to thank my teammates, my family, and my coaches, especially my goalie coaches who I've grown up with, Dave Rogalski, and especially Mike Johnson, who you guys have meant so much to me and done so much to me. And to get to this point has been just insane for me. It's truly an honor. And yeah, just the teammates, you guys have meant everything for me and couldn't be more thankful. And yeah, that's it.
On behalf of the Minnesota Wild, it's our privilege to present a jersey to commemorate this moment.
Slide over and we'll get a photo. You want that in there as well?
And now, one more award to go. Charlie, congratulations. And we have Tom Chorsky to present this award. Tom is the first Mr. Hockey winner, 1985. He is from Minneapolis and played hockey for the Gophers from 85 to 89. And then he went on to have a stellar career in the NHL, crisscrossed the country and Canada during his career, Montreal, New Jersey, Ottawa, the Islanders, Washington, Calgary, and Pittsburgh. Let's welcome Tom Chorsky to the stage.
Thanks, Allie. Yeah, by the end of my career, guys were calling me Suitcase. Had to fight that guy. But it's always an honor to get up here and at the end of the year, and it's been a long weekend, so we'll kind of keep this moving at this point. I echo all the thoughts and the congratulations to the finalists, to the coaches of the year, to the Woog family, and to Doug Woog. I played for Doug at the U. And all the other teams that made it to the state tournament. And to all of you that are here, I can, on behalf of the Minutemen, it means a lot to us to fill this room and have you, excuse me, show up and participate in this and kind of help make it be as successful as we'd like to think it is. For the finalists, for me and for all these young men that are going off to further their playing careers and their education, at the time I was like them. I won the award, and it was it was neat and it was cool. And Herb Brooks presented it to me, and John Mariucci was there. But it really kind of meant more to me after my career, and so that might be the case for you guys too. The one thing I would say as some advice, if I could just share with these guys and to the other players, we love the hockey community here. We love the community-based hockey. You're playing with your friends, and we wouldn't change it for anything. It's the best environment to grow up and playing. With that, it gets a little harder. And so if I had any advice, it would be keep your eye on your goals and where you want to go, and have a vision and expect it to be hard. Sometimes we hear kids that come back, or I've been to national camps, and just kind of the narrative is sometimes that the Minnesota kids aren't that tough, or sometimes it's this community-based thing. Again, it's great. I'm not discouraging it. I would just say expect it to be hard. Embrace the adversity. Know that people aren't going to be as friendly, and you're going to have to play for coaches that don't know you, they haven't known you. And I know when I played, I thought coaches didn't like me, and I asked to be traded, and that coach didn't like me either. And I finally had to look in the mirror and say, I was the common denominator in these coaches not liking me. And so don't think that they're just making it hard for you. The system is designed to figure out how bad you want it, and you will find out how bad you want it and how bad you love the game, because you're going to be in a different environment, different surroundings, and different teammates and different coaches. So my only advice to you is embrace it and battle through it, and we all want you to succeed. Again, the upside of this community is that we're here to support you. We want to see you succeed, and you're growing up in a tough area that we can kind of monitor and keep track of you. And so if you do fall down and you do have some hiccups or some hurdles, we might hear about that too, but that's okay. It's okay. Again, expect it, but we're here to support you, and if things don't go exactly the way you want, that's okay too. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure on young athletes these days, and they get a little lost in their career and how important it is to succeed, and we don't want to see any of that as well. So good luck to you all, and I wish you nothing but the best and success, and being a finalist. If it doesn't mean a lot to you today, hopefully it will someday. And so with that, on behalf of the Minutemen and the Mr. Hockey Awards Banquet Committee, I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the 2019 Mr. Hockey Award goes to Bryce Brzezinski.
First off, I'd just like to thank, the Minutemen and Minnesota Wild for putting on a great banquet here. And, I'd just like to thank, my parents, my coaches, my teammates, all for coming out to this special event. It was a fun season. I'd like to say congrats to, Edina and St. Cloud. It was a place that, Blaine wanted to be this year, but couldn't make it thanks to Jensen over here. But, it was a fun year. Super excited for, all the guys to see where they go in their lives, and super thankful for all my coaches, especially Whit, teaching me where to shoot on the goalies all the time. But, just very thankful to be up here with all these guys who are very deserving of this trophy. So thank you.
And on behalf of the Minnesota Wild, I'm honored to present Bryce Brodzinski, the 2019 Mr. Hockey award winner, his very own Wild sweater.
Thank you all for attending. We are going to organize the finalists in a few minutes over there at that photographic table, and bring your awards with you. I want to let you know that silent auction will be closing in about 15 minutes, so you can take a look out there one more time. We're going to do one more little roll call here. Great to hear Chorsky called Suitcase. That's great. When he retired from hockey, came back to Minnesota, the Minutemen found out, first of all, that we had misspelled Chorsky on the award on the glass chalice 17, 18 years before, and then one of those little glass ears, china ears, broke off during his Suitcase years. So we were able to do a new award, and hopefully Tom's got a spanking new Mr. Hockey award on display somewhere in his home. Next, there's a guy here. I want to first of all say congrats to Bruce Johnson. Bruce was at our head table for many, many, many years, and good to see you again. Congratulations. There's another guy out there, Mike McMillan. Are you still here? Stand up, please. He's been up at our head table, does so much stuff for hockey in Minnesota, and still, I think, executive secretary of the Coaches Association, I believe, but does a lot of good stuff. Next, Mark Parrish still here. Are you in the room? Stand up, please. 1995 Mr. Hockey finalist. You see him on television and hear him on the radio, so thank you for being here, Mark. Mark and Tom and Matt and all you guys that were finalists or winners, if you want to get in on a shot that Walt will take with the finalists for this year, that'd be great to have you guys over there be involved, be on a photo. Finally, I want to also point out and introduce our old friend Roger Godin from the Minnesota Wild is the curator. So the Brodzinski family, you got to connect with Roger because he builds a Mr. Hockey display. He'll want to try to get Bryce's jersey for that display. So you guys connect with Roger. Roger, thank you for all you do for the Mr. Hockey Award. With that, it's been another terrific year of hockey in Minnesota State High School hockey, another terrific Mr. Hockey Awards banquet. Congratulations to all you guys. Come back and see us whenever you can, please, and be our guest. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next year.